You ever feel like you're just a pawn, like you're stuck in other people's games? It's wild out there. People are playing mind games, trying to manipulate you. There are ways to level the playing field. And for that, we're going to learn dark psychology, 20 techniques, psychological jujitsu, Benjamin Franklin effect, scarcity principle, secret weapons hidden in plain sight. By the end, you'll be calling the shots. Mastering the art of silence. Most people are terrified of silence. It makes them squirm. They'd rather fill the void. In a negotiation or conversation, let them finish, then go silent. Hold eye contact and watch. They'll start talking, spilling their guts. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Building rapport is about creating that instant connection. It's called mirroring, something we do naturally around people we like. Use it consciously to build trust with anyone. Mimic their body language, posture, gestures, even their tone of voice. If they lean back, you lean back. If they sip their drink, you sip yours. The key is subtlety. This creates a subconscious connection, making them feel like you're on the same wavelength. Named after one of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, we like people more after we do them a favor. Ask for a small favor like borrowing a pen, thank them sincerely, and watch their perception of you change. The foot in the door technique. This classic sales tactic works in any situation where you need agreement. It's called the foot in the door technique. Start with a small request before the big one. Want your roommate to do the dishes? Ask them to just put their own dishes away first. It's about building momentum, getting them in the habit of saying yes. The door in the face technique. This is the opposite of the foot in the door technique. Start with an outrageous request, then follow up with a more reasonable one. For example, ask to borrow a car for a month, then ask for just the weekend. They're more likely to agree. The halo effect. This one is all about first impressions. It's a cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person influences how we feel about their character. If someone is attractive, we see them as trustworthy, intelligent, and likable. Put your best foot forward, dress well, groom yourself, and project confidence. People will judge you whether you like it or not. The contrast principle. This next one is all about playing with people's perceptions, making something seem more appealing by contrasting it with something less appealing. Let's say you're trying to sell someone a car. You could start by showing them the most expensive, luxurious model you have. Then, when you show them the more affordable model you're actually trying to sell, it'll seem like a steal in comparison. The scarcity principle. Creating urgency makes people act now or risk missing out. We value things more when they're scarce. Limited edition sneakers, concert tickets that are almost sold out, that last slice of pizza. Highlight limited availability to your advantage. The Reciprocity Principle. This one is all about the power of giving. It's based on the idea that when someone does something nice for us, we feel obligated to do something nice in return. So, if you want someone to do something for you, do something for them first. Buy them a coffee, offer to help them with a project, give them a genuine compliment. Don't underestimate the power of a small gesture. The Decoy Effect. It's about influencing choices by adding a third option that makes another seem more appealing. Imagine choosing between a small coffee for $2 and a large for $4. Now, add a medium for $3.50. Suddenly, the large for $4 seems more appealing. The anchoring effect. This one is all about the power of first impressions, but on a numerical level. It's the tendency for us to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive, even if it's irrelevant. Let's say you're negotiating the price of a used car. The seller throws out a ridiculously high number as their starting point. That number, even though it's absurd, becomes an anchor in your mind. The Pygmalion Effect. This one is all about the power of expectations. It's the phenomenon where higher expectations lead to an increase in performance. If you believe someone is capable of great things, you treat them differently. The Pygmalion Effect is about setting high expectations for yourself and for others. The social proof principle. This one is all about the power of conformity. It's based on the idea that we determine what is correct by finding out what other people think is correct. So if you're trying to persuade someone to do something, show them that other people are already doing it. Testimonials, reviews, social media followers, it's all social proof. The authority principle. This one is all about the power of authority. It's the tendency for us to obey authority figures, even if it goes against our better judgment. Now you can use this to your advantage by establishing yourself as an authority figure in your field. Get those credentials, build your reputation, dress the part. The liking principle. We're more likely to be persuaded by people we like. So if you want to be more persuasive, focus on building genuine connections with people. Find common ground, offer sincere compliments, be a good listener. The commitment principle. This one is all about getting people to commit to something small so you can then get them to commit to something bigger later. It's based on the idea that we're more likely to be consistent with our past actions, even if those actions were small. Once they've made that initial commitment, they're much more likely to agree to larger requests down the line. The consistency principle. This one is similar to the commitment principle, but it's about encouraging consistency in actions over time. If you can get someone to make a small commitment and then act consistently with that commitment over time, they're much more likely to internalize that behavior and make it part of their identity. The in-group bias. This one is all about the power of belonging. It's the tendency for us to favor people who are part of our group, whether it's our family, our friends, our co-workers, or even our favorite sports team. So if you want to build rapport and influence with someone, find commonalities, highlight shared interests, and emphasize your connection. The framing effect. This one is all about the power of language. It's the idea that the way information is presented or framed can significantly influence our choices and judgments. The same information can be perceived very differently depending on how it's presented. So if you want to be more persuasive, choose your words carefully. The priming effect. This last one is all about the power of suggestion. It's the idea that exposure to one stimulus can influence our response to a subsequent stimulus, even if we're not consciously aware of it. You can use priming to your advantage by subtly introducing ideas, words, or images that are related to the outcome you're trying to achieve. Use your powers wisely. So there you have it, 20 dark psychology tricks to give you the upper hand, from the power of silence to the art of mirroring, from the Benjamin Franklin effect to the scarcity principle. Remember, these techniques are powerful. Use them wisely.